Welcome in this video, guys. Thank you for clicking on the video. It obviously means that you have some issues in trading that you need to overcome, and that's, without clickbait, the thing that we're gonna do in this video. The things that I used myself to get multiple payouts with prop firms, the things that nobody talks about, the real issues that traders have and the real issues that you need to overcome to really start printing money in the markets. So stick to the end of the video, it's gonna be worth it. Make this promise to yourself to watch the video fully and try to use as much as you can. Take something to write and let's dive right in. I made a quite nice presentation explaining to you all the issues, how we can fix them, and how you can become more self-aware and how you can become a more profound trader and actually start printing those payouts. So there are many trading strategies out there, but mostly the issue isn't the strategy itself. Probably you've already tested a couple of strategies, you've been around for a while, and you already started to realize, well, the new best thing, the new holy grail is not the way to succeed in trading. Usually the issue is going to be you. And that's already a great value thing to write down. So I hope you're taking something to write down. Write down the biggest issue is you. Always take responsibility. Don't blame anything else. So when we're going to do this session today, I'm going to do this with you. Every issue that we will talk about is going to be your issue. You're not going to blame anything on the markets. You're not going to blame it on your strategy, whatever it is you're trading, but focus on you. You are the issue here today. Now, important to know is that most traders fail because we are human beings, all right? We are no robots, and the human aspect of trading is actually our biggest obstacle to become successful as a trader. So us being human, having emotion, having thoughts in our head, all that stuff is going to make us, of course, not designed to be a trader. We also have that fight or flight model. We have our brain that's been ancestrally programmed to not take any risk, to look for the safest way. So all these things are designed to not become successful as a trader. So it's quite important, and we actually need to get some clarity, get a better understanding of what these human issues are, these programmed issues that most of us will face. I think 99% will face most of these issues in their trading career. So let's dive in. So we have these human issues. I split them up in four categories. We have the emotional errors. Of course, we are emotional beings. It's always when I see traders talk about you have to cancel your emotions. Well, obviously that's not possible. It's more kind of accepting that they are there, trying to understand these emotions. Where are they coming from? And most importantly, to not let these emotions affect your trading or your decision making in the trading process. Then we also have the psychological errors, which makes sense, which I don't have to explain. We have process errors, which are quite interesting as well. And then I made a little fatal doom scenario error step where we're going to combine more deeper self-awareness stuff in the end. So stick to the end. The deepest stuff that we're going to try to fix today is going to be in the end of the video. Or you can skip until the end if you're a trader that's looking for a shortcut, but I wouldn't suggest you doing this. Probably after everything is recorded, you'll want to watch this video again, a second time, a third time, make some extra notes. And every time you'll watch this video, there will be new lessons because you'll be in a different part of your journey, and separate things that I'm going to say today are going to make sense. And you might want to come back to this video to check, well, he talked about overtrading, he talked about emotions. Maybe I need to go back to that video and just look at that small part in the video that talked about emotions. So make sure to use this video as a Bible to come back to, because I really put a lot of time into this. So let's start with the psychological errors. We're gonna start with one that I had myself, or one of my biggest issues actually, which was overconfidence. Is this feeling or this belief that you think that you can beat the market. Of course, you can't beat the market, or some people who say they found the algorithm, we're beating the algorithm. That's obviously not true. You can find an edge in the market statistically or mechanically, of course. Then we call it, in Belgium, we call it the pink glasses syndrome, when we put on the pink glasses, when everything is happy, feeling good. This is the state where you come in. So you get this state of getting cocky, overconfident, you become nonchalant, and obviously you're quite high in dopamines. Everything in life is going good. You're smiling, your wife or your children or your job, whatever that is going on next to trading is going well, your trades are going well, and you get into this state of overconfidence. The thing is, what is going to happen is you're going to be starting to take some more risk or ignore risk at all because you're just, well, nothing really bothers you. You're feeling happy. You're going to abandon your system. You're going to overtrade. You might take B setups. You might have this thing which is called trading with feeling, where you just believe that the markets are going to go up, or you have a strong conviction. And these are all triggers that we get, or signals that we get from overconfidence. So quite an interesting aspect that we can talk a lot about. Now, quick solution. I gave every topic a quick solution, but of course every solution needs more clarity and self-work. But I gave you some solutions that I would suggest for overconfidence. It's quite important to check in your state of being, not only when you're trading, but make it a habit to checking in during the day. Something a lot of people don't really do nowadays. It's all fast and quick dopamines, and we don't really check in anymore. How we are feeling, what we are thinking. We don't journal our thoughts. We don't journal at all. We only journal our trades. Perhaps if you're already doing that, that's quite good, because some traders don't do that. Now, does it mean you need to journal to become successful? No, but if this is an issue, this might be the solution for you to become self-aware of the issue and where it's coming from, and potentially fix it. Of course, if you don't have an issue with it, then the journaling is not going to help you. It might help you uncovering other issues that you have. Also, humbling yourself and state triggers, as I might call them. Quite important to humble yourself. I have a little quote that I always write down in my notebook, which says that I'm a stupid monkey just pressing buttons, which really humbles me. Also, I did a spiritual trip last year, and a little interesting thing that came out there from me was that we're just the son or the daughter from our parents. And that's quite a nice realization. It's really humbling you, put in perspective that we're just human being. It's not because that you're winning big in trading that you're suddenly better than anyone. So that's something to humble you, because if you don't humble yourself, what's going to happen? Of course, the markets will humble you in the end. As you know, that's the negative thing, over trading, ignoring risk, blowing accounts. That's, of course, the result from overconfidence. And then, of course, state triggers, because it's nice to humble yourself, but you need some kind of trigger, some kind of state trigger built in, so you know when it's time to stop trading, to realize, well, I'm not in the correct state of being to trade. Usually, a lot of people have this thing when they're frustrated or negative or losing a lot, but they don't have it when they're winning a lot. And that's something that I had to find out the hard way. So just having a little small trigger or a routine, first you have to do it consciously, and then after a while it's gonna start to happen unconsciously. Like driving a car, and the first you have to focus on everything. It's the same with these triggers. Like for example, I write it down every day. I'm just a fool pressing buttons. I'm just some random guy pressing buttons and trading. And now every day when I come to the charts, I immediately have this mindset, well, I'm just here to play the odds, not the market. I'm just playing my edge in the market. I'm just a random guy. I'm not special. Anybody can do this. Even though I'm a mentor, even though I've had many payouts, I still don't feel great. I had this point in my career my trading career, where I was very overconfident. Like I found the algorithm telling people that my strategy is the best. That's a red flag. For me, that's, I didn't check in my state. I was just flying on this very high state on a wrong way, with a lot of ego, arrogance, and overconfidence. And it's nice for me to stay humble at this point and just know that you can lose everything real quick, which also happened to me. So quite important to fix overconfidence. Now, if we move on, because we still have a lot to cover, so stay with me. We have the hope bias, which is obviously something that a lot of people have. They only see what supports their bias. They're not able to see the other side. They're only bullish. Like for example, in crypto, you have these people who only see crypto bullish. They don't have an open mind. They're not aware. They're most of the time saying things like, I hope this trade plays out. There is no confirmation. They just hope that it plays out. There might even be like confirmations or indications against the trade. So quite interesting. I see this a lot with beginning traders, but also experienced traders, which happens sometimes, where they have some kind of hope or believe that it's going up, but they don't actually have confirmation. So result is going to be that you're going to be holding on to losing positions, or like a lot of crypto investors, they're going to hold their investment and they're not going to cut their loss, and it ends up giving them minus 50-60% in bull runs, which is disastrous, of course. They're going to neglect, of course, counter trade confirmations or counter trade indications. They're going to ignore new data. Now, very easy solution that I use myself is if you have a bullish and bearish checklist, that automatically is going to give you a process where you're not hoping for the markets to move in one direction. So having this is going to help you a lot. And then make it a routine to flip your chart. Like go to TradingView, very simple. You go to TradingView, I don't know the shortcut. You go to this chart and you just press here. It's over here, right click on this tab here, and then you can just say flip chart. Where is it? Oh, invert scale is what it's called. In this case, you can always look both ways and just be aware of, okay, what is price doing in both ways? So quite little trick that I use myself as well. And that's something to really easily counter this hope bias where a lot of people are going wrong and they're just sticking to one way in the market. Then we have the illusion of control, which is one of the toughest issues to fix. Mind you, we're still on the surface of issues. We're still going to go deeper in this video, but most people think they can control the markets. Of course, you can't control the markets. You're in a probabilistic game. So what does it mean? You can only control your own actions, how you execute, where you trade. That's the only thing you can control. Everything else, if you put that limit, if you put that trade, is out of your control. So trying to take control over something you can't control is what is giving a lot of people frustration. And we're going to talk about frustration later in the video. But what's going to happen, they're going to get frustrated. They're going to start micromanaging. They're going to start looking for 10 hours at their screen because they just want to keep looking at the position. And they're going to try to take control back by manipulating their actions, like, ooh, I'm moving my stop loss to there, I'm gonna remove my stop loss, they're gonna system hop, they're gonna try something different, so I'm seeing something else here, and they're gonna start revenge trading. So what's the quick solution here? Of course, it's not a quick solution, but these are quick thoughts that can help you on the path to solve these issues. So focus on the process over outcome. We're going to talk a bit more later on a deeper surface on this issue. Quite important step that we can talk about. And then accepting that you can't control the markets. So this is just surface level stuff. Of course, if I tell you focus on the process or like focus on the journey, not the destination, that's quite cliche. But it's very important. If you're constantly chasing results instead of focusing on the process, the results are most likely not going to be coming very soon. So we're going to dive deeper in a second layer into this chart here. And next, we're first going to talk about some emotional errors that most of you will have the most issues with, because a lot of us are emotional in trading. So fear of missing out might be the biggest one if we talk about emotions, something that I myself, even after 6 years, still have, which is something that's always going to be there if you miss a nice opportunity. I even had it this week on a yen position, played out perfectly. I wasn't involved. Unfortunately, my limit didn't get tapped. And that's, of course, fear of missing out. Of course, I didn't chase the trade because I have these habits, these routines, my plan. I'm a strong believer how you do one thing in life, and write this down. How you do one thing in life is how you do everything. So another nugget for you. If you're going to be chasing trades everywhere or trying to still catch on, you're going to get burned real quickly. You always want to stay disciplined. Unless your plan is to trade in momentum or whatever it is, fine. But let's say you have a trade that you want to take. You're not involved. Price moved up for, let's say, 50 pips already. You're going to break your risk to reward. And just for what? To still get involved, to feel that dopamine of that trade playing out, because you hope, because there's one, it's already going in the right direction, that it's going to play out. Nothing is certain, because I see a lot of traders who jump in that trade and then the trade still doesn't play out, and then you have a bigger stop loss, for example, and you feel even worse. So for me, having that feeling is not something I really want. So I will never chase a trade. And then, of course, also taking too many positions, over trading or chasing a trade are, of course, the things that happen when there's FOMO in the markets. What happens usually, people might increase size because they, for example, have a stop loss and they know that, or they have this feeling that they know that the move is going to be there and they still want to enter. So they might overtrade or even increase their size, revenge trade that with some fear of missing out. So these are some issues: revenge trading, increasing size, breaking rules, chasing, and too many positions. So a lot of people I see in the beginning stage are doing this, and it's quite important that we dive deeper into this aspect as well later in this video. Solution is going to be, of course, strict loss rules, strict entry criteria, discipline building, identity. Of course, strict loss rules and strict entry criteria, it's not going to fix your issue that much. The most important one is going to be building that discipline in the process and really shifting your identity of being a consistent, disciplined trader. So that's something we're going to talk in the end. So wait for that one, but quite important. These are the things that we really need to focus on if we want to fix FOMO, that we really have to stay focused on our process, disciplined, identity. In the end, we didn't really lose anything. It's just this fake feeling that we're missing out. But in the end, also creating an identity where you have a lot of abundance and where there's opportunities every 1 minute, every second, there might be an opportunity in the market. Of course, if you have an edge in the market, that edge is not going to be there every 1 minute. But understanding that there's abundance of trades, there's abundance of time, abundance of money flow coming to you, that's also a thing in your identity that's going to be quite important as a trader. If you don't have that correct identity and you don't have this mindset or psychology, then it's going to be hard for you, because then you of course want to chase. Now, talking about FOMO, the next big issue that I had myself was being a sore loser. Nobody likes losing, most hate it, and of course, if you don't know it yet, trading is a game where you lose on a daily basis. You're a professional loser, so most people don't accept losses, and that's actually the biggest issue for a lot of traders. So emotions and not being a good loser, these are the things that a lot of traders have issues with. So they don't accept the loss. Of course, when they lose, their ego is attacked, their confidence is attacked. So they get into this fight or flight state because they're not getting their dopamine reward system triggered. So for the hard work. So it's quite important to become a good loser, because otherwise what's going to happen? Revenge trading, ego, over trading, whatever that it is, focused on making winners back. And my biggest solution for fixing this, I attended the event of Tom Haugaard in Prague last year. Obviously have his book as well, and that's just a game changer. Read the book, Best Loser Wins by Tom Haugaard, because he's really teaching you how to embrace losing, how to focus on the process, and create that identity where you become a professional loser, and when losing doesn't really matter that most. And of course, I need to share this with you. You cannot become a good loser without losing first, right? If you've never lost in your life, trading is gonna be more difficult for you. A lot of successful stories in trading, these people have lost a lot, been scammed, lost a lot of money, worked hard, spent money in courses, wasted a lot of time. So they've lost quite a lot, where they get to a point where the losses just become normal. They're just accepting it, like, oh, I got scammed, well, it's another loss. Oh, I crashed my car. You have this meme of traders where they have like basically no emotions. When something bad happens in life, they're like, okay, that guy died, well, okay, it's life. So that's the point. Of course, it's really hard to get to that stage in trading, but in the end, if you're just trading your data and you know what you're doing, every loss should just be like 1% or whatever percentage that you allocate to your risk, and it shouldn't really trigger you that much, because you should embrace that as a lesson as well. It's part of the journey. You signed up for this as well. So again, identity and deeper self-awareness are going to be crucial, and we'll talk about that later when we've combined all these issues, of course. But we have a lot more to do, as you can see. So next we have, of course, fear of pulling the trigger. I see a lot of new traders where they get into some kind of analysis paralysis, where they don't really know what to trade. They don't really know what to do. They might have some drawdown trauma, so been losing a lot. So in the end, also for me, this happens sometimes where I'm losing a lot. And I'm like, does my edge still work? And then you're just waiting for so many confirmations. So that's something I needed to fix myself. Just look at my winners. I made a whole video in my course as well about the Book of Doom and the Book of Glory, where you can look back to your previous trades, get some confidence out of that. What have you done good? What have you done well? Look at what you're doing now, because otherwise you're just going to be missing trades, and also you're going to have a lot of feelings of doubt. So important to automate the process, collect your data, look at previous data as well of your winners, of your losers, and mostly learn to accept risk. That's an important one. Lower your size, like the pressure. If you're trading with 2% or 1%, just lower your size, but try to pull the trigger again with like 0.10 or 0.2% risk, just to have a feeling of getting back in the market. You got to build that confidence back up, and you can do that with lower size. For some people, there's different steps and different solutions to get over that fear, and the best way is to just take small steps towards it. Of course, there's a lot of people who just say jump into the cold water instantly. For some people, there's a lot of fear to lose money in the market. So start small, learn to lose small, get a bit bigger, find that plateau, and try to break through it by accepting higher risk. Okay, next one is for the more experienced traders, and that's of course the over-attachment to trading, which I see a lot. I see it every day. Every trade must be right. All their trades feel like they're predicting the markets. They aren't playing the odds. The outcome matters the most. So a lot of result-based thinking goes on. And these people, including myself actually, like trading is their main passion. The only thing they do is trading. Like you wake up, you want to check the charts. And I really feel that because I'm the same. I'm really addicted to this game, like being in the markets, trying to beat the markets, let's say, trying to overcome myself, staying disciplined, like winning at this game of trading, which is one of the biggest skills to have. That's something really triggering. It gives you a lot of dopamines, like the things like delayed gratification as trading is. It gives you like if you get a payout from a prop firm, it's the biggest dopamine spike you will ever have in your life. Until you've had multiple, of course. But then again, if you have a bigger payout, again, it's going to be the best feeling in the world. So, but for these traders, of course, every trade that they win or lose is going to hurt. They let losers run. They ignore the red flags. Now, solution is quite difficult. And again, we need to dive into a deeper layer here. And we're going to do that in just a minute. You need to have a strict plan. You need your data, of course, to back your decision. And the most important solution to fixing this is process-based action. So process-based thinking, as you can see here, is quite important. If we're not busy with the process, you're probably focusing on the result, getting those big payouts, wanting to achieve a lot, getting these nice certificates with your name on it. That's the thing that most people are focused on. And what's going to happen, like every day, it's not happening. You're going to be building a lot of weight on your shoulders because you're busy with that result. It's not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening. What's going to happen? You're going to feel like this guy over here. You're going to cry a bit. So quite important that you don't get into result-based thinking and stay into process-based thinking. But again, I have a great tip for that later when we dive a layer deeper. Then finally, we have process errors. I'm not going to talk too much about this because these are not going to be high return on investments. Like if you spend time on your risk management, well, risk management issues usually come from the other part. But these things are some things that you can fix yourself. Like, okay, you don't have a clear edge. Well, obviously look up a YouTube video, buy a course, get a coach, whatever. Try to find an edge yourself. Both things can work. Also, trading with feeling, something that we really want to fix. We want to understand this feeling. What are these indications in the markets that we want to see? Make a list of these indications and use these instead of feeling. Then also over trading, not only A setups, but usually most of these process errors are going to come from psychological or identity-based issues. As strategy hopping, your plan isn't clear, also is going to be the same thing as your edge. It needs to be clear. Of course, if your plan is not clear, so quite important, if some things of this, like a plan, if that's not clear, if you have a question mark here, well, obviously you're going to have more psychological issues. Let's say if you have a clear edge, you know exactly what to do, you have a trading plan, you know exactly when you need to pull the trigger, you have clear stop loss placement, you have clear, let's say a target here, you have clear targets. Everything is designed. You have the data to back these kind of positions. Well, if you already have that, the psychological stuff in trading is going to be easier, and you'll be able to trust that data, to trust your edge. So you first need to trust your edge and get a confidence with your edge before you, of course, focus on the psychological stuff. So quite important as well. So that's why I included these process errors, like not journaling for me is a red flag. I know traders that don't journal, they know their edge, but they've been trading for like so long. For me, journaling is quite important because I want to know how I'm performing and am I making mistakes? Am I trading a wrong setup? So what am I thinking? What's my mindset? So journaling, and I see a lot of like rich people, big guys, entrepreneurial guys, they always have like a book, like a small book where they make notes in. I have it myself as well. I have a small book where I write myself in like these emotions, these thoughts that I have during a trade. So quite important. Of course, backtesting, reviewing, and trading to prove something. So we're not going to focus too much on process errors, but I wanted to include them for you guys. But we're going to be moving on. So we are arriving at the more interesting part, the deeper layer of your issues, of your errors, which are the fatal errors, as I call them. We're going to combine everything that we just discussed about. We're going to go a layer deeper and trying to figure out where these issues are coming from and how we can actually fix them on a deeper identity belief based system. So of course, as you already understood, certainty in the markets doesn't exist. And the illusion of holy grails, that's also something that doesn't exist. Even my strategy, even other strategies, we have an edge, but it's not a holy grail. It's not like perfect, like it's always going to work. Nobody has this holy grail strategy. I hate it when people say they have a holy grail strategy because obviously it doesn't exist like that. So quite important that you understand this, and that you can't control the markets. You cannot control the markets. So that's something that we already discussed. And there's where a lot of issues actually come from, because what happens is we get frustration and tilt. So all the issues we discussed, a lot of these issues are going to either give you frustration and tilt, or they're going to give you a craving for pleasure and avoidance of pain. So these are the two things that I divide them into. People, when they can't control the markets, they either get frustrated, get tilted, or they start to crave pleasure. They overtrade again, they over leverage, or they close a position too soon or whatever, or they don't want to trade, they want to avoid pain. So these are the two main issues that I noticed that a lot of traders are having. But what can we say about these things on a deeper level? Well, let's start actually with result-based thinking, something that's quite important that we've talked about, which is a big issue in trading, but in general, if you're an entrepreneur or if you're doing something else, result-based thinking is not really going to help you because you're setting yourself up to fail. Because of course you're going to lose more than winning. As I said, you're going to become a professional loser. So if you're focused on a result in a game where you're constantly going to be taking, let's say, 3 L's, one win, 1 L, 1 win, 2 L's, 1 win, maybe 2 wins, 1 L. So obviously you're going to feel like shit, or maybe not yet. Well, okay, a loss, shit, I lost again. Okay, 3 losses, you feel like shit. Oh, you win again. Oh, but I lose again. So every time you're gonna feel like shit. Maybe here you get overconfident, and now you take 5 losses or 4 losses. So quite an important thing what's going to happen. You're going to set yourself up to fail, obviously. Now we want to fix this issue by staying in the process, create some kind of process-based thinking and some delayed gratification. Because of course, if we're focused on the process, we are also looking for instant gratification and we want that delayed gratification. So the biggest solution to fix here, and I can talk for like 30 minutes about this, but I'm just going to recommend the book as well. There's going to be a lot of recommendations for books for me, but The Power of Now is going to be your biggest fix for this. Staying present, because all your issues, they're either in the past or in the future. In the now, there's really no issues. Like right now, everything's fine. So this is something that is quite important, being more present in the now and focused on the actions that you're doing yourself. Like I see a lot of people who want to try lose weight, for example, and they're thinking, oh, I haven't been to the gym for like a month. I don't want to go. But let's just say that doesn't matter. It's gone. Like, what are you going to do today? Do you want to show up? What is going to happen today? Do you want to win today? And of course, you want to show up today. It doesn't matter what happened in the past. It doesn't matter if you're going to, am I going to go this week? How many days am I going to go? Just start by going now. Just go for 1 hour, 30 minutes. Just get going. And that's the biggest thing that helped me in trading as well, for reviewing, for everything in the process. start to really enjoy the process. And we're going to go a bit deeper in that with a last book that's going to be Atomic Habits. We're going to be talking about it in the column on the right. And before we do so, let's talk a bit about this ancestral wiring of pain and pleasure. We have pain, which is created in our fear central in our brain, which is the amygdala. It's going to give you pain, basically is the loss of control or losing. And pleasure is going to be gaining control or gaining something. So two things that control us in the financial markets, but in general in life. Now, modern day, we crave pleasure, which is basically dopamine, and we fear pain. That's why we actually have a dopamine nation as we speak. Everything is about dopamines, quick, fast, instant gratification, pleasure, 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 and a lot of fear for pain. Because what happens if we have all these dopamines, if you have TikTok, if you have Netflix, if you have gaming, if you have fast food, it's such a dangerous cycle to be in. You're not going to be productive because your pleasure control center in your head is getting fed all these dopamines. Dopamine is getting fueled. So it has no fear of pain. It has no need to go and chase. And it's gonna even fear pain. So like if you want to go to the gym or do some hard things, what's gonna happen? No, we fear pain. We're happy. We're already getting dopamines. We don't need to do the pain thing anymore. We don't need to go through that to grow or to get our pleasure, which is crazy. And a lot of people forget that like all these things modern day are designed to really fuck you up. Because if you have TikTok, if you have gaming, Netflix, adult content like OnlyFans, stuff like that, it's really gonna fuck up your dopamine system. You will not crave any pleasure anymore because you're constantly getting these cheap dopamine hits like a dopamine junkie. And the issue is that you don't need to hunt like before our ancestral brain. We needed to do hard stuff to get those dopamines. And the big issues nowadays is we don't need to do them anymore. So if we want to go on a path where we constantly, day in, day out, have to conquer pain, conquer fear of losing, it's easy for you to get off that path and to fall into the trap of quick dopamines. And that's something that a lot of traders fall into. So this is something that you really need to find yourself, switch your whole identity to make the hard decisions. Like act like you really have to make this happen. Don't go every day you decide to take your phone and actually open up TikTok and scroll, which I'm a victim of as well. I do it myself. Like sometimes when I'm waiting somewhere, I'll open TikTok and it's just everything is designed to catch your attention and give you dopamines basically. So it's a drug. It's the worst drug. Like all these things are grabbing your attention and giving you dopamine. So quite important why we don't really want to go on our phone the first thing in the morning, because we're automatically already creating a dopamine system that is when you're starting your day. But again, I can talk about this for hours, but it's nice to look into this one for yourself if you find yourself having issues there. If you want to print a lot of money in the markets, these are the things you really need to focus on. Then, what is going to happen? Nowadays, we're all chasing dopamine, of course. So let's talk a bit about excitement versus boring. I think if you know a lot of successful traders, trading's got to be boring. There's no real emotion in the game. Like, unless you win really big or lose really hard, which obviously you don't want to do. You want to have a constant line where you're just performing consistently. If you're not doing that and you're winning big and you're getting this big excitement, that's not how trading should be. It should be boring. Like for me, I'm waiting for my setups to happen. And when the trade comes, just click, put my limit in MetaTrader or whatever platform I use. And that's easy. So quite important to focus on getting trading as boring as possible, because it has to be. You want the delayed gratification. You want the real dopamines, not the fake, easy and quick dopamines. So you need to make stuff boring. If everything is exciting, that means probably you're risking too much. You're risking too much. You're trying to overtrade. You're really pumped up behind your screen. That's not trading. So quite important thing why I'm mentioning this, because if we take a loss, this thing is gonna it's gonna trigger something. It's gonna raise cortisol in our brain. It's gonna trigger emotions. It's gonna trigger old beliefs that we have about ourselves. It's gonna really trigger deep into everything which we call the identity of who we are. So quite important that we really make it boring, because if it's exciting, what's going to happen, every trade that we take is going to trigger an emotion, an identity. It's going to make cortisol, and it's not going to be well in the long run, because obviously these things, what's going to happen, well, these are going to lead to unwanted actions in the market, and we don't want those, right? Like, you're probably here because you don't want to overtrade. You're done, you're finished, you're already aware you have the issue. Okay, phase 2, you're here today to learn how to fix it. There's a couple of ways. So these unwanted actions, well, we have bad habits and how we can fix that as well. That's the part where we go into atomic habits. And then we also have like sabotaging identity and beliefs. So let's dive into the first part where we combine negative and positive feeling into correct habits. So quite important for me is whenever I do a negative habit, I try to combine pain or a negative feeling with these bad habits, and I try to really encourage my good habits. So this is a trick that you can use, but you can also read the book Atomic Habits, which is a very interesting book if you want to change those habits. Let's say, for example, you're overtrading or you're doing some stuff you don't want to do. You really want to take that image, create a strong feeling of pain, a very negative feeling when you're doing that. Look at yourself, look at that image, make that image dark, scary, negative, give it a dirty smell in your brain. Like, really add a lot of senses to it, like negative senses, like color, sense, hearing, like add some negative music to it. Like, that's really gonna create this negative issue of that habit, and that's how you can rewire your brain. But the book Atomic Habits is really gonna help you in that one. And also for the good habits, like make these good habits fun to do, colorful, give them a happy feeling, put on your favorite music. If you don't wanna listen to focus music, don't listen to focus music, but make it fun. Put on some good music, make it a fun habit, make it a game. Gamification is quite important as well in habit building. But again, all these things are mentioned in Atomic Habits and the loop from cue craving onwards. So quite important if you want to read some books, 3 books today: The Power of Now, Atomic Habits, and then of course The Best Loser Wins from Tom Haugaard. Now, I talked about this deeper layer of issues that we have, and this is obviously your sabotaging identity and beliefs. This is the deeper layer where I really have to highlight to you that you are not your thoughts. Like, everything that you're thinking in a day, well, for example, most of you are not aware of your thoughts. Like, what are you actually saying to yourself? Like, I'm a loser, or I'm a bad trader, or whatever it is you're saying to yourself. Are you aware? Because you are not your thoughts. Very important to not identify yourself with your thoughts. Write it down. I don't identify with my thoughts. And that's already a big step into creating an identity, because your identity is not the things you're thinking on a daily basis. To move on and to finalize this long video, we don't want to go for instant gratification. We don't want to go for these quick and easy dopamines. We really want to create an identity. We want to become somebody who is not addicted to cheap and quick dopamines. We really want to fix that dopamine system, and combined with that, we want to create a new identity. So when we are creating that identity, use this video, use these things to create that identity for yourself. Who do you want to become as a trader? And start small, as I said. Start building that identity, not with your thoughts, but by pure action in the now. Focus on what you're doing right now, build the identity, and actually focus on doing the correct things. Because every day that you're living in the now, in the process, and you're building that identity is going to be proof in the end that you're becoming that identity of a successful trader who is disciplined. The Disciplined Trader, also a great book if you want to continue on that side of reading. And to end everything, the reason why I made this video was actually about this quote. It's the hard decisions now that give you an easy life later, and it's the easy decisions now that give you a hard life later. I know it's cliche and it's something you might see on Instagram, but it's real truth in it. Like, you can always decide, and also me, it's already getting evening right now, so I could have decided to play a video game. I could have decided to watch some Netflix, eat some junk food. But what did I do? I made this beautiful presentation to create some value for you guys, creating purpose in my life, focused on now. I want to do this. I want to create value. I want to help you guys. And these hard decisions are going to give me and you guys an easy life later. If you've watched till the end, like, try to live every day with this quote. Am I making easy choices or am I making hard choices? Because in the end, we are not primed ancestrally in our head. We are not primed to make the hard decisions now. We are primed with this dopamine nation to get quick fixes of dopamine as a junkie. And we need to rewire our identity, our habits, focused in the now, where we make hard decisions, build discipline, create identity, and create a belief system where you become a successful money printer in the markets. If you found a lot of value in this video, please drop something in the comments. I read all the comments, so I would appreciate if you let me know what you think about this. If this really helped you, for me that's a big one because this is giving me purpose. So let me know in the comments if you really enjoyed the video. What is your biggest lesson from this video? Like and share, and of course subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching and see you soon.